Welcome to the session. My name is Hannat Shagar. I'm a senior investigative data analyst at Code for Africa Lab team. Today we'll discuss around online landscape of TFGBV. We will see the narratives, the tactics, AI abuse, and case studies from 11 African countries. Just to say a few words about Code for Africa, it's the continent's largest indigenous network of civic technology. Our network includes One Data, African Drone Sensors Africa, PaceCheck, and the iLab team, which focus on forensic analysis. The company is active in 26 African countries. Okay, so let's go to the main topics that session will cover. The first one is TFGBV. We'll see what TFGBV means, and then information manipulation. We'll also see key trends in TFGBV. And then the other one is the anti-women's and anti-LGBTQ narrative. We will also see techniques and tactics used to amplify these narratives. So TFGBV means it's a technology-facilitated gender-based violence. It refers to an online abuse targeting individuals based on their gender. So this includes sexual harassment, body shaming, and non-consensual sharing of intimate content. So our report will cover how information manipulation targeting women and girls through TFGBV. So we tracked 11 African countries. So we'll see the case studies later on. So we have also identified the weaponized narratives in the Malian actors that mostly leveraging digital platforms to perpetrate, amplify, or enable harm against the women and the LGBT communities as well. So these are the key forms of online abuse. Some of them are well known in different aspects as well, but today we'll focus on gender-based online abuse. So the first one is extortion. This involves online sexual blackmail, threatening to leak explicit content unless the victim complains. So this has been used mainly on multiple social media platforms. The other one is image-based abuse. This also involves sharing intimate photos without consent to shame or control the woman. And then the other one is doxing. So this also involves revealing personal information online to intimidate or harass the woman. So there is could be their address or who they are, unless they do whatever they ask them to do. And then the other one is cyber stalking. This is an ongoing online harassment. This also involves threats or abusive continuous messages. And then the other one is gender-based hate speech. This is a misogynistic slur or traits targeting woman identity or beliefs. And then the last one is online grooming. So this is where the predators gain trust somehow, and then they use this to exploit girls emotionally or sexually. So this is not all of them, but we try to see the main forms of online abuse. Okay, let's go to the key trends. These are the key trends we observed so far from our analysis. So the first one is we've seen an increasing weaponization of digital platforms against women in power, especially, and then the LGBT communities as well. We've also seen use of AI-generated content to discredit women in leadership and spread false narratives as well. There's also a rise in anti-LGBT disinformation, especially during political or legal moments. The last one is cross-border amplification. We've seen hate spread via social media, could be through trends or coordinated campaigns. Next, we will see how these trends have been used. So the first one is sexualization and discrediting of women in power. Here we will see how they've been used to harm the reputation of women in political leadership by insinuating their career success due to sexual favor, saying that it's not coming from hard work, but this comes from a favor of a means behind them. So they're discrediting their reputations through this. So we'll see the cases in Ethiopia and Nigeria. The first one is TikTok users targeting Adanet Abebe, the mayor of Addis Ababa. They use AI generative videos, linking videos to Ethiopian Prime Minister and the Equatorial Guinea diplomat. So they try to discredit her reputations, saying she's in power and she's doing things because of the man was has high power behind her. And then the other one is Nigerian Senator Natasha. There's also a smear campaign which claims that she was blackmailing the Senate president and had a close relationship with him before these allegations as well. So they try to humiliate her by using AI generative videos with the senator and try to humiliate her. So these are the examples, TikTok examples. With the first one is for Adana Abebe, the mayor of Ethiopian Addis Ababa. So as you see in the videos, they're trying to humiliate her by depicting a picture kissing the prime minister and hugging the Equatorial Guinea diplomat. And then here, this also shows they try to show that Senator Natasha had a relationship with Senate president. The next one is ridicule of women's appearance. So this narrative focus on, for example, let's see the case with Brenda Baya, daughter of Cameroon president. She faced body shaming after coming as a lesbian. Multiple accounts were showing her before and after appearance and tried to mock her. So there was a coordinated messaging against her. This was on TikTok, Facebook, and X. They sexually insult her. There was sarcastic commentary and mockery. So our analysis shows that 92 Facebook posts contrasting her before and after appearance received 8.9 million views and 17K interactions. Of the total posts, 34 of them they've used copy paste to amplify this narrative as well. They also use identical captions, layouts to ridicule bias appearance. So this is an example from Facebook showing her before and after appearance. And the third one is objectification of sexual exploitation. This is the case in Nigeria. So we have observed a TikTok live that have been used for online sexual exploitation, where accounts encourage young women and girls to engage in sexually explicit acts, and then in exchange they offer financial rewards. So to maintain the contour in the women's, for example, in this video, some hosts threatened participants with mass reporting if they refuse to comply with the escalating demands. So the video host and the participants will ask the woman to expose herself. If not, they will threaten her to must report her account and share how she was willing to do things in this video as well. For example, in March 2025, a TikTok live stream, the host was threatening to disable girl's account when she refused to expose herself. Viewers are also pressuring her to, expose herself. Unless you do that, the comments were saying that we got to up your account, which means we will block your account and report it. So this is one of the narratives and the tactics. The other one is shaming women. So here we would see two cases. The first one is in Cameroon. A 16-year-old girl faced online shaming after a leak of video. It claims that she slept with multiple boys in school. They use AI-generated videos and derogatory slurs. They've been humiliating her using these derogatory slurs. This has been shared on Facebook, TikTok, and X. It was a viral video. This is the first image shows her. This is a AI generated video. They use multiple contents. This one, for example, shows her sleeping in the bed, and then there was others video of her dancing and engage with the boys. And then the other one is this happened in December 2024. This involves Robert Mugabe Jr., the Zimbabwean president. So, an explicit video allegedly featuring Robert Mugabe Jr. and two women. The video went viral on Facebook, X, and TikTok. This video has sparked widespread outrage. So they were calling the Mugabe family, as disgrace to Zimbabwe following this leaked video. They were labeling them as prostitutes as well and body shaming him. And this one is a reinforcement of violence against women. This is also, we have seen this narrative in other countries as well, but this one focused on Kenya. So this is a case where a group of men physically assaulted a woman named Melon. They're abusing her for not throwing soil in her former husband's grave. So the video it went viral on TikTok and X. The analysis of the comments shows that 99% condemn the gender-based violence, where the other comments, like 1%, 1% of them mock her and blame her for not doing that. They're saying, why did she go there if it's an ex? And then they also said she deserved it, so she doesn't marry again. Most of the comments were in Swahili. There were multiple guys who were assaulting her in the video. She was crying, but no one was helping. Okay, the next one is focusing on anti-LGBTQ communities. The first narrative which mainly used against them is homosexuality as a sin and a cultural trait. So this one is they're framed as an immoral and incompatible with African traditions. They've been often reinforced through religious dogma and cultural rhetoric. These are some of the examples we've observed mainly in Kenya and Uganda. So, for example, there's a case where in 2023, a court ruling supporting LGBTQ rights, Muslims and Christian groups were protesting online and offline. They were asking for the judges who passed this one to resign their work. And then in Uganda, the same year, Anti-Homosexuality Act fueled narratives framing homosexuality as a sin. On X and TikTok, users were echoing the phrase homosexuality as a sin and say no to LGBTQ. This has been amplified on TikTok mainly, showing, for example, this First picture shows a TikTok video where a former LGBTQ member claiming that he's exposing their secret, saying it's a Western agenda and it's a sin. And in the other picture, he was seen saying, for us African, we don't believe in homosexuality. And then the third one is also a woman saying, these were the boys who were somewhat sodomized. So they try to amplify such kind of narratives to harm LGBT communities in African countries like Kenya and Uganda. And then this one is a case involving erosion of family and religious values. So we've seen this kind of narrative shared in Ghana, Madagascar, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. This is not all, but most specifically what we tracked. So politicians claim that LGBTQ rights threaten the family structure, moral value, and the faith-based norms. So, for example, in Tanzania, 2024 parliamentary debate, the MPs were denouncing LGBTQ rights as a threat to culture and tradition. For example, the speech that this MP, in the picture as you've seen, it was amplified on TikTok, X, and Facebook. Especially, they were quoting his speech. This one, they're saying, the one saying, we do not want homosexuality in Tanzania. If it's aid what they are bringing, they should be stopped. They should stop. We don't want it. So these quotes specifically have been amplified on multiple platforms. They were using this caption on TikTok especially, and amplify homophobic rhetoric. And then the other one is LGBTQ as a Western agenda. This is the top narrative we've been tracking so far. This is a present narrative claiming that LGBTQ rights are being imposed by a Western government in the name of donation, development aid. For example, USAID, World Bank have been mentioned in multiple accusation posts accusing using this narrative. So, for example, this have been seen in Uganda case. A Ugandan opposition leader, Bobby Wine, he was criticizing the focus on gay right over the other human rights, following the World Bank action. And then the other one is there was a criticism faced into a well-spreading of anti-Western narrative in Uganda, with some users viewing a World Bank action as an attempt to, impose Western ideals on the sovereign country Uganda. So there was multiple TikTok videos, especially it has been amplified on TikTok and X. They were saying this is a Western agenda, not Africans. Now let's see the key trends and tactics. We'll see how these narratives have been amplified on multiple platforms. So the first one is changing handles after suspension. So we've seen this in the case where a Nigerian TikTok hosts trying to humiliate women's life and force them to exploit themselves. So these accounts have been changing their username just one word and then reappear in the platform again after being blocked. So reusing similar username after bans. So we need to track this one as well, like keep tracking their after post activity as well. The other one is AI generative videos and images. we've seen multiple narratives being amplified using deep fakes to manipulate perception. For example, we can see the Cameroon schoolgirl. She's been targeted with synthetically altered videos to mock her. And then the other one is camouflage. This is altered text to bypass filters and detectors of the platform. So they deliberately misspelled slurs like, for example, useless to bypass the detections and avoid modern filters. And then the other one is emotional language. This is mainly used, it's a derogatory term to demon victims. We can mention the Cameron girl case, and this one as well. They were using la penis and la partus, these phrases to humiliate her. And then there's hashtag, which mainly used in most of the coordinating application cases. So they amplify this to devise the content. For example, for anti-LGBTQ case and other cases as well. For example, we can say Jay-Z, the hashtag Jay-Z, and then Mashuga. The other one is troll amplification and psychopaths. So this has also been mainly used. They use fake accounts to boost harmful contents. So we can say we can mention the right-wing US accounts to amplify anti-LGBTQ claims. So these are the main tactics we have observed so far. The key pointers from our analysis is how AI-driven tactics have drastically amplified disinformation and gender-based violence. And then there's also social media platforms spreading harmful narratives against women. And also, we have seen how combating TFGBV requires awareness, policy change, and technological solutions. So from seeing this, we have some recommendations. The first one is expanding support for African language. So platforms need to improve their language tools to enable, understand, and flag abusive language in multiple African countries. So this could help, detect before getting more and more abusive content spreading in multiple platforms. And then the other one is iterate use of gender-based hate lexicons for machine learning. So platforms need to also have updated region-specific lexicons that include local slurs, coded language, gender-based terms, and train the model to effectively, filter these terms. And then the other one is monitor live streams for coercive or abusive behavior, just like the Nigerian live stream content. So this has been increasingly used to harass, dox, or shame individuals in real time. So platforms should use real-time detection and human review to monitor signs of targeted abuse during streams. The other one is track backup or secondary accounts linked to suspended users. So this is where we also mentioned the Nigerian TikTokers. They've been suspended, but they appear again by just changing some of the terms in the username. So they often return using new accounts after bans. Platforms need to improve their mechanism to detect linked accounts or using behavioral patterns. If they're using the same content again and again, then they can track them through that. Also, device fingerprints or use networks to prevent reoffending. So these are the main recommendations we are giving to the platforms. Thank you so much. We've covered some of the contents that are important in tracking TFGBV. Thank you so much.